As an immigrant to this country, I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans and to our friends around the world about the events of recent days. Now, I grew up in Austria. I'm very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys.
Did you hear that? That was the sound of the internet exploding after Arnold Schwarzenegger drop-kicked Trump's reputation straight into next week. The governor just schooled the Donald, and honestly, this political smackdown is exactly what we didn't know we needed. Forget Celebrity Apprentice, this is Celebrity Roast, Presidential Edition. And trust me, Arnold isn't holding back. He's serving up some brutal truths with the side of classic Austrian sass. Before we jump back in, can I ask you for a quick favor? If you're enjoying this content, take a second to like this video and hit that subscribe button. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing. It's free for you, but it makes a huge difference for us. Done? Awesome. Thanks so much. Now let's get back to it. Remember when Arnold was just a guy in tiny shorts, lifting ridiculous amounts of weight? Yeah, those were the days, but our favorite Austrian powerhouse has come so far since then. From pumping iron to pumping up California's economy, his journey is like a real-life action movie with more twists than even the Terminator could handle. Now picture this. A muscle-bound dude with a thick accent says he's going to be a Hollywood star. Sounds like a joke, right? But Arnold wasn't playing. He powered his way into the movie industry, turned "I'll be back" into an iconic catchphrase, and became the biggest action hero of the 80s and 90s. Talk about a self-made legend. But wait, there's more. Just when we thought Arnold had reached his peak, he pulls another classic Arnold move and says, "Hasta la vista, baby."
Governor, you famously said that the Republican Party has a problem at the box office. I heard you equate the GOP with the Titanic. Explain.
The reason why I said it was because their policies were such that they were not really including everybody. We were losing them because we were not addressing those issues. So I was telling them, I said, look, the way you're going, by being so healthcare reform and being so anti-environment and stuff like this, we are losing and we're dying at the box office.
Next thing we know, Arnold's not just acting, he's running for governor of California. I mean, who even does that? Arnold does, that's who. You might be thinking, a bodybuilder turned actor as governor? Sounds crazier than a predator on roller skates, right? But here's the twist, he actually did a pretty solid job. He rolled up his sleeves, probably to show off those biceps, and dove into some major issues. Climate change? He tackled it like a T-800 chasing John Connor. Healthcare reform? He gave it a workout fit for Gold's Gym. Arnold didn't just pose for photo ops, he put in the work. But here's where it gets really interesting. Arnold isn't your typical politician. He's got an ace up his sleeve, his immigrant background. Yep, the Austrian oak brings a fresh perspective to American politics. It's like he's saying, listen up, folks, I've seen life from both sides, and it's time we make space for everyone at the table.
Hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster.
Hey, Donald, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again. So being from Europe, I've seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here.
You'd think being a Republican governor would make Arnold and Trump best buddies, right? Wrong. Turns out our muscle man has a mind of his own. He's not shy about flexing his political muscles and calling out his own party when they're acting, as he'd say, like a bunch of girly men. And Arnold? He's got some choice words for the GOP. He says the Republican Party has a problem at the box office. Ouch. In Hollywood talk, that means you're about as popular as a Jingle All the Way sequel. Looks like the party isn't living up to Arnold's action hero standards. But here's where things get really interesting. Arnold's political style? Imagine a well-oiled machine versus a rusty trumpet. 3 guesses who the trumpet is and the first 2 don't count. While some politicians thrive on chaos and division, Arnold's all about unity and aiming higher. It's like he's trying to be the John McClane of politics, saving America from the bad guys, one yippee-ki-yay at a time. So, what made Arnold decide to take on Trump now? Well, our favorite kindergarten cop has seen this movie before and he's not a fan of the sequel. He's been there, done that, and probably owns the No More Authoritarianism t shirt. Arnold knows firsthand what happens when democracy starts to crumble, and he's not about to let it happen on his watch. It's like his whole life has led to this, from pumping iron to pumping up voter turnout. And folks, he's bringing out the big guns, and I don't just mean his arms. Hold on to your hairpieces, everyone. Just when we thought Arnold had hung up his political gloves, bam, he's back with a knockout punch that's got the internet buzzing faster than Trump can tweet. Picture this: Arnold, chilling in his fancy office, probably surrounded by his pet donkey and miniature pony, yeah, he's got those, decides to drop a truth bomb on social media. And trust me, it's not some casual, I'll be back kind of message. Nope, it's more like, I'll be dragging you back to reality, Donnie. Now you might be wondering, what could Arnold possibly say that we haven't heard before?
What do you think about Donald Trump running for president again?
You know, I think that's the past. And I think that we have to march into the future. And I think there are very talented people in this country on the Republican side that can run. So I will go, look in the future rather than in a rear mirror.
Well, buckle up. Buttercup Schwarzenegger's got some zingers that'll make your MAGA hat spin. First up, he throws out a wild idea: a job swap with Trump. Can you imagine? Arnold says, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV since you're such an expert in ratings, and I'll take over your job. Ooh, that burns worse than a bad spray tan. But Arnold isn't just tossing out playground insults, he's getting real. He digs deep, opening up about his past growing up in post-Nazi Austria. It's like he's saying, listen up, Trump. I've seen this movie before, and it doesn't end well. Then comes the real gut punch. My father was sucked into a hate system. I've seen firsthand how things can spiral out of control. You don't often hear the Terminator get this serious, but when he does, you know people are going to listen.
The only thing is that we don't have to go under completely. We don't have to wait for that moment. Let's change and let's go and be more open and go back to this kind of like a big tent idea of Ronald Reagan. So if Trump does a great job, then there's no reason to replace him, right? Because then people will be happy and they will say, hey, he went through the list of things that he has promised. We have immigration reform, we have healthcare reform, we have now a true booming economy, and we have all of those things, and he's tackling the education problem that we have. He's working on all of those things, and he's doing a great job. Bang, he's back in again. There's no two ways about it, and he should be.
Just when you think Arnold's done, he delivers the knockout punch. He looks straight into the camera and says, the good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. Boom! Mic drop. Someone call the burn unit because that was a Twitter roast for the ages. Now, you might be wondering what makes this takedown so special. Well, this isn't just another celebrity hopping on the Trump bashing train. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're talking about the guy who went from flexing in gym mirrors to flexing his political muscles as California's governor. He's been there, done that, and probably owns a "My Dad Was the Governator" t-shirt. And here's the twist. Trump, quiet. No late-night tweet storms. No "you're fired" comebacks. Nothing. It's like someone took away his Twitter fingers. And you know what they say, silence can speak louder than words, or in Trump's case, louder than caps lock. So what happened after Arnold's verbal smackdown? The internet lost it. Memes popped up faster than Trump's legal troubles. People shared the video like it was the last roll of toilet paper in a pandemic. Arnold didn't just drop a truth bomb, he ignited a meme explosion. Hold up, remember that fly that landed on Mike Pence's head during the debate? Well, someone gave that fly an Arnold makeover. Suddenly it had muscles, an Austrian accent, and was probably yelling, "Get to the chopper!" Memes of Lady Liberty rocking, Arnold's signature squint, and cigar flooded social media. It was like the Statue of Liberty hit the gym and decided to terminate tyranny. Sure, memes are funny, but they're more than silly pictures. They're like modern-day political cartoons, just with more pixels and fewer newspapers. Arnold's words turned into hashtags, punchlines, and viral slogans. People who never cared about politics were suddenly engaged. It's like sneaking veggies into dessert. They thought they were just laughing, but they got a dose of reality too. Of course, not everyone's thrilled. Some experts worry memes oversimplify serious issues. Sure, reading a 50-page report on democracy is ideal, but let's be real. Would you rather do that or laugh at a meme of Arnold arm wrestling the Constitution? Exactly, and guess what? Arnold's not just trolling Trump, he's calling out hate and division. He's seen what happens when things spiral out of control. My father was sucked into a hate system, he says. This isn't just about politics for him, it's personal. He's also pointing at social media, saying it's become a breeding ground for negativity. Imagine Arnold scrolling through toxic comments, sighing and thinking, I'll be back, after I unfollow these people. So, can Arnold's words really change things? He admits time will tell. We'll see in a few years how right I was, he says. But what's clear is people are listening. Maybe, just maybe, more moderate Republicans will find their voice. After all, when the Terminator tells you to save democracy, you pay attention. Arnold's call isn't just about throwing punches, it's about public servants actually serving. Imagine politicians who care more about people than their own egos. What a concept. So, folks, are you ready to be the political action hero America needs? Because in this crazy ride called American politics, we're not just passengers. We're in the driver's seat. Let's rev it up and say, Hasta la vista, baby, to the nonsense.